I don't know if it's 16 or 18 or... I don't even know my name today. Hello folks, welcome to what Ray tells me is week 16 of the Tech Tips series. Today we're at Ray's home shop, or what's left of us. How long was yesterday, Ray?
14 hours.
For who?
14 hours. Each.
Yeah. So I'm going to film this video sitting down because it wasn't 14 hours. I added another 5 after I got home because I had work to do. Yeah, I am tired. I'm not even.
Yeah, that's 19 hours.
This chair you have here for, I guess, whatever this station is to my right is very comfortable. So I might just let you talk, and if you see my eyes shut, it's because I'm sleeping.
Okay. Well.
So anyway, today we're here at your home shop. We're featuring your circuit board repair station. And we're going to take something out to the...
It's one of them. I got 3.
Okay. Talk about that.
Well, one is being set up over at the store. It was moved there, and I'm reconstructing it. And it'll be a duplicate of this.
Well, that way I can...
halfway there. I mean, I can do repairs on it, but it's not what this is, and I wanted this.
So over there, I get to do all the circuit board repairs, right?
Yeah.
We'll get Jimmy to do them. Poor Jimmy. You ever seen Jimmy with a soldering iron?
No.
Shout out to Jimmy with a soldering iron. He needs to just relax. Poor guy. He knows what he's doing. He just I don't know. He's intimidated by a soldering iron, and he's not the only one. I was, but I'm not really afraid of him at this point. But I don't know. I don't know if you want me soldering in chips or any of that stuff. I don't know.
Well, you just have to have good manual dexterity. That's all. And you got to have equipment and know what you're doing.
Okay,
These
well...
are my connector stock. And just to give you a brief overview of the shop layout here.
Which is much of what you have on the truck as well.
Yeah, it's major. This is your major stock of stuff. You know, I mean, you can look to see what you buy quantity and you stock quantity when you're doing repairs of things.
So you restock the truck from here, but of course this is going to be more comprehensive because you're not doing major circuit board repair in the field.
Right.
Okay. Parts.
Yeah, and then you have.
I got to stand up. Here we go. Whoa.
Capacitors, big to small.
Capacitor. What does a capacitor do, Ray?
Well, they're electrolytics, and there's some tantalums in here and some ceramics. Delays a current, stores a current. Most of these are for coin-op equipment.
Whatever you just said, most people don't even know what you just said. So
well, it's a maintenance part for electronics. That's really all they need to know. How it works in a different circuit is complicated, so it really isn't worth explaining.
Okay.
If you're going to get into electronics, then you should take a course if you're curious.
Got that.
You really don't need to know how or what things do to repair things. You can go off of a tech tip such as this, or do some reading and it'll tell you replace this, replace that. Mr. Pinball, what was that called? Pin Monkey, remember their website?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it was this guy. He took the site down. I don't know if he brought it back. 3M, Marvin 3M Pinball, this guy here.
Okay, I've heard
this will
people
tell
talk about
you what to replace and how it works and where in the circuit to do it, and you don't even really need to know anything else about it. You know, I mean,
I understood that he put an immense amount of work into those into the documentation that he put there, and then I guess somebody needed some tissues or something and got upset with him for trying to help somebody. Imagine that. But okay, well, if you feel like you're using a term that people don't understand, like electrolytic or whatever, if you're looking at me and I'm giving you a dumb look, I don't know, either explain what it is or just call it a capacitor and don't say electrolytic, because I don't know what that means.
Yeah, just a different design of capacitor. And here you've
Do they make iridescent capacitors?
Well, they might for certain people. Here's IC components. This is a PIA 6821. These are processors.
IC components. What is that?
Integrated circuit.
Okay.
These are resistors. These are cap kits for monitors. I used to do a lot of that. Those are transistors. These are more ICs, more ICs, more ICs. Specialty sections. You know, these are low shock to the 7400 series. These are PC series. They're faster switching IC. Most of them are gates and switches that go on pinballs and video monitors. There are different sizes. It depends. You look up the part number and a crossover and you get it.
Do you actually use any of this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody recently accused you of just storing it. You just buy this stuff and just keep it for, I don't know, to look at.
No. I know how to use it and I know what to do with it. Yeah, these are IC sockets. I go through a couple hundred a year. You know, these are 24 pin.
Okay. You use those a lot. What's the story there?
Well, whenever you're replacing a component on a board, you're going to want to socket it. This is somebody else's blue socket. I'm going to replace both these with my black sockets. I don't really know. This board was repaired. I was using it for testing. This is a component puller.
Okay, not a screwdriver.
No.
Why don't you use a screwdriver?
Because it will gouge the board and cut a trace, and you need the angle to get underneath and pry.
Okay.
The screwdriver is going to put you this way. You can't pry on it.
Oh.
And you can go through the end with it, but usually if there's a chip in the middle of the board, how are you going to get to it? That's what this is for.
Okay.
That's what this is.
An expensive tool that you should have if you're doing this.
Right. And then these are pliers to straighten pins out if they should need it. These have no teeth.
Okay.
They're electronic duckbills. And then this is what happens when you have silver plating on chip legs. And what you want to do is just take a stainless steel wire brush and clean these off. You can also use a fiberglass cleaner.
Can I put it in the sandblaster?
No.
Ah.
And it cleans the pins off the legs. Most chips nowadays don't even oxidize black like this because the pins are zinc or some sort of plating. These here were silver coated. This is an old chip made by Fairchild. It's a 6820, which is also a 6821 PIA.
Okay.
It's a peripheral interface adapter. Used in most pinballs.
Give a dummy a brief overview of what these chips generally do. Do they do several different things? What's the brain inside of that thing?
They do. These are input output. They take input from the CPU, and they put a output signal to the driver chips, which are these little ones, and then the little ones in turn tell the transistor through the pre-driver transistor to turn on the big transistor. That puts the signal out to power the device through the. This is actually what powers the device, like a lamp, a coil.
So in a bigger view, it's a setup of relays where it gets stepped up as it's going along.
Integrated circuitry from the component level. All right, like your processor. Let's see. A good example is a 6808. This would be a 40-pin Motorola 6808 processor. This will send a signal to this to tell this, to tell that, to tell this, to tell that what to do. You can't power a device like what this is going to do directly off this. It doesn't have the power.
Right.
And it's not fast. That's not fast enough to do all that. So you have to. It's a cascade. You have to send it from the chain of command is what you could think of it as. And there are different processors. You've got 6800, 6802s. These are memory chips, you know, it just happens to be numbers. If you're familiar with processors, and then of course your Gottliebs use 6832s and 03s. There are different configurations of processors in pinball. 6809E is your latest processor used in WPCs. And Motorola came out with a 6800 processor as a way to cheaply control devices for low cost. It came out a long time ago, 80s, 70s. The 09 came out later, and as they built up more processing power in the chip, they progressed on in different processors. One of the last powerful ones they made, actually they used in pinball, is this. This is a Motorola 68000, and this has the computing power of probably 10 of those. This does a lot. It's actually overkill for a pinball, but that's how electronics works, and that's why you need parts. You know, there are literally thousands of parts here, and you need, you know, you label unique. I like to label unique messages about each one. It saves me from looking them up. If you do enough repair, you actually know what is what anyway. But for new stuff, you know, the reference labels other than part numbers I usually put on here.
Okay. This
is a collection of a lot of years of work. I mean, you don't just order this stuff and do this overnight. I've been doing this since the 90s.
Well, and it's a changeover from where you came before, because you were doing the same type of thing in right. Different product, but same brains.
Yeah. Copier office equipment was very technical.
A copier uses the same type of control center that a pinball does.
Yep, just does a different thing. And these are EEPROMs. This section is EEPROMs.
Okay, and explain to us what an EEPROM is and does.
Erasable programmable read-only memory, EEPROM. It has a window, and that's your processor chip in it. The glass window is something that you cover over with a label when you're done.
Okay, yeah, talk about that, because that's a quick tip right there. If you look in the back of your pinball machine and you can actually see the window.
Yeah, not good.
That's and even worse yet, if it's like a stern that has a fluorescent ball back there.
Erase. Yeah, if you have an old if you have a newer stern, even those are getting older. If you have a stern, newer generation stern, they mostly all used back box lights, 24-inch fluorescent lamps. Well, fluorescent generates ultraviolet, and ultraviolet is a form of it's a bandwidth of light that erases these chips.
Literally.
Yeah, that's
in fact,
why.
Isn't that
some of them aren't erasable? Some of them are just PROMs, programmable read-only memories. You get one shot to program it, and then you're done. It can't be erased then.
But most of these are erasable and rewritable.
Yeah. And there's different sizes. This is a 4 meg. I have 8 meg that go in some of the later machines. You know, most of your
so when you're recycling an EEPROM, how do you do it? How do you erase it?
Well, you have a device. This one does up to 5 at a time. You place your chips face up. You have to clean the window and make sure they're nice and clean. You don't want any dirt on it, or it'll scatter the UV. BK makes, this is a smaller one. You can do 5 at a time.
Okay.
If you turn it on, you can set it to different types of exposure. 15 minutes is what it is. You can see the, it almost looks like
and that's
black
what
light.
It does. It hits it with UV.
Light. Yeah, it's not black light, and it's not fluorescent.
It's not
like
fluorescent,
this.
but
no, this is fluorescent. It's a different spectrum of light.
But yet they're similar enough that right. If you expose that window to a fluorescent light, it'll erase it.
Yep. Yeah, or it'll corrupt the memory, and it'll make the device unusable.
So if you've got one of those in your back box and the window has, the little sticker has fallen off?
It will, because the UV dries out and rots plastics and papers. It dries things out.
Easy solution, put a sticker over it.
Yeah, put something over it like...
you won't hurt it. Make a little label.
I like to use the labels like this out of the Brother Label Maker.
But realistically, you can just put a piece of tape over it.
Yeah. You know, anything from a dot. This is what I make up. This is my labels. I put where it goes, the version, and then what it's for. You can abbreviate it or do what you want. You know, there's high-speed U26. I make my own up. I do dozens of them. I carry a lot in the truck. Just the handy ones to have for updating people's game versions.
Okay, well that was an easy tip. And boy, you know, any idiot can do that, right? Put a sticker on a window.
Yeah.
That was an easy one.
So this is the programmer that I use. It's a BK 848, and it does 40 pin down to 24 pin or smaller.
Okay, so you either have or know where to acquire the programming that goes into that chip.
Right.
I understand you have an extensive file of them already. Tell us about your dog.
Oh, that's when she was really young. Look at that. She was black.
She's still around. You know, I don't know why, but she has not come down to say hello to me today.
Look at that in the background. What is that? Algar.
You know, I bet that is the Algar.
It is. It was.
That's the Algar that ended up at Zartler's and then came back, and now the new owner's tuning into this video.
That was its start right there.
Derek B has that same Algar.
Here's a program. This is what I use. It's a program that goes with that. And this is how you burn a chip. You load your file. What I have is, let's see here, load. This is firepower. And you can, I did a combo firepower. You just load your chip. You get a checksum down here. You have to select what chip you're using.
Okay, what is a checksum?
A checksum is, the file is 73F76, and when I'm done I want to see that. And here you've seen I burnt one here. It loaded the file, loaded successfully. There's your checksum. When I got done programming that device with that file, I got the same. And that means
that's a code evaluation of what you just did, and if it matches, you're good. If it doesn't match, something went wrong.
Right.
And something does go wrong.
Here is a checksum. This is the data that's in the chip. And this is the end when you see zeros and F's. But this is what data was in that chip. This is a checksum. All this makes up what you see at the end.
Right.
There.
All that translated into a short code.
Right.
Is the checksum.
Right. And sometimes you'll see the author's code in here. Let me give you a better example. Let's see, view, file, load.
Don't know how this is going to look. I haven't tried to videotape a monitor before.
It's a flat, so I don't think you'll see it roll. Let's see here. Let's do this one. Load this, and then you can view it. Okay. Sometimes toward the end they will put a signature of who did the programming, and you'll see it spelled out in English, and they put codes to block it from downloading into the chip, but it's kind of neat to read. Your newer Williams chips do it a lot. It's really neat. I was bored one day. I looked at it. If you go into my
Ray, you just reminded me of The Matrix. You ever watch The Matrix? I think it was the first one where I don't know, the guy who ended up being kind of the bad guy, one of the bad guys, is sitting there at 3 computer screens, and he's looking at The Matrix, and it's just all this code running, and he tells Neo that that's how he's able to decipher that, or I don't know. You know which part I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
If I got some sleep, I could probably explain that better.
Let me see if I can give you an example of this. Yeah, I kind of liked those movies. All these figures here are code. If you change one of them, you change what the program does. This is why some people can rewrite this code. Now, they patented this and hid it, and they won't allow too many people to understand how to do it. But I'm sure if you're into code and computers, you could rewrite this, and that's why you've seen some people rewrite code already.
Well, you look at the P-Rock that we saw yesterday on the Cactus Canyon.
That's an example that guy wrote.
Somebody sat down and wrote a whole bunch of that stuff.
It's in the beginning of this file. See it? Copyright 1995, 1990, Williams Electronics Games Incorporated, all rights reserved. System software by Larry DeMar and Ted Estes. These were the notes the guys put in here, and then they start writing their code.
The code, yeah.
Now there's verbiage in there, and down in through this thousands of bits, you'll find other comments in there. So
some of them are funny, probably.
Yeah, they are.
Like, jerk off, why are you looking at this?
Yeah, like Get Out. One of them I saw, Get Out. These guys are bored. I mean,
well, sure.
Programmers.
Yeah.
But this is a neat. This is your buffer, and each one of these bits make up your checksum. Okay.
Okay.
Without getting too far into it, that's
Well, yeah,
how you do. Yeah,
yeah, we're not going to teach anybody how to program today, but when you say checksum, you know, if a good percentage of people watching this don't know what that means.
This device programmer was bought years ago when what these are called is a dual inline pin, DIP. They're not really made anymore. They're not really used anymore. You're going to see this.
Surface mount.
Yeah, you're going to see this type of thing.
Which is smaller than your fingernail.
Yeah. It's still dual inline pin, but it's a flat surface.
And it's one and done. It's made at the factory.
Yeah.
It's however they put it on the board, and then it's over.
Yeah, SMT is what they're called.
Although actually, you know, explain, if you don't mind, explain...
SMD, surface mount device.
Explain the serviceability of that board you're holding right there, because I think that's interesting that they...
Yeah.
You can't replace that component, but yet they make it so that you can. In fact, that one has a replaced component on it.
Yeah, some of this pinball remanufactured stuff, some of it will give you an alternative to use the larger component rather than the SMD piece, which is, as I said, surface mount device. So you can do, now I've replaced one chip. This is what they went to. This is what was.
And they give you the holes there so that you can solder in a replacement, because you can't replace the piece that they put on in the factory.
Old technology like this is called through-hole technology, through-hole, because everything that this does is through a hole into the other side.
Okay.
This is not.
Surface mount.
These surface mount technology doesn't come out. There is nothing at the other end. It's got tracings.
So when you were talking about solder side and not solder side, this doesn't have solder side, is the top side.
Yeah, they combined a little bit of old with the new here.
Although it's not even solder. It's some sort of, right. I don't know how they do it. But you know how they do them, because you were at Jersey Jack Pinball and you saw them do it.
Infrared usually. Yeah.
Don't they like bake it on or something?
Infrared. Yeah.
Bake
it on. Anyway, that's a crossover between old and new, you know, and this type of thing. You almost have to do that with pinball stuff.
Well, they have to, because...
this is a different device. This is out of an NSM jukebox. This is an ES6 CPU board. This is a good example of surface mount technology. And you have everything on this side, and there's nothing here. These solder traces are really not components. These are test points. There's nothing comes through at the same place on the other side.
Very difficult to service.
Yeah, this is probably a 4-layer board. Yeah. This type of thing is hard to service. They went to these type of chips when they did use any kind of chips with pins on, other than... Now, there's no way you're going to humanly control solder to solder this in by hand. That is done with a machine. It is also, it can be done with a hot air rework station. After solder stations left repair shops, they came out with hot air, which is a very expensive way to solder on stuff like this. And you have a holder that it works off vacuum to hold the component, and then you actually have to have, not this, you have to have a microscope to actually look to see where this is being placed, because these pins are probably 4 thousandths apart.
Oh my.
So when you're putting that on and attaching all these at once, you've got to control position.
But in the case of the pinball board, they deliberately make it serviceable, not because they expect the components to fail on their own, but what happens is other people or things will cause that board to fail. They'll blow things up. Right. That board you have sitting there, I think it was originally in our... We originally put it as a brand new board into the Centaur, and the Centaur had you know, it was such a major overhaul with the new playfield and everything that there were shorts that we didn't see until we plugged the board in, and we effectively blew up their new board, and they made it serviceable for that reason. You can be in there changing a light bulb, and how many of us have blown up a board changing a light bulb? They make it serviceable for that reason.
It's hard to effect repairs in the field on this stuff. I don't advise it because it's too delicate. You should have a replacement board instead of doing like what this guy did.
What this guy did? Oh my.
Well, he didn't have the right components, so he made that out of that, and he had a hard time doing it, and
Ouch.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff you're going to see people do because they don't have the right components. These are 2 Zener diodes.
I know which shop that came from. Is there a sticker on it?
Yeah.
Well, what I need you to do, Ray, is when you take those off of there, I need you to put them in a bag so that I can sell them on eBay, because that's what we do.
It's history.
Every used part goes on to eBay, because that's what we do. Or at least that's what we've been accused of doing.
Oh.
Do you know why I list used bulbs on eBay, Ray? I bet you know why I do it. You have to know why I do it. It's a very simple answer.
I don't really. I just know you do it.
I don't do it just for something to do.
Well, why do you do it?
Because people buy them.
Oh, well, yeah. It's economical.
I'm not going to throw out anything that somebody's willing to buy. I'm going to, now here's the big difference, Ray, and that is I don't misrepresent what I'm selling.
Oh,
I will tell you that it's a used bulb that I pulled out when I was installing LEDs, and I will tell you, and I will tell you that 2 out of 10 of the bulbs that you buy in this bag of bulbs is not going to work. And if you choose to buy it, hey, that's on you. You know, there's no smoke screen involved there. That's the difference. So, there, I said that.
Beauty.
And I said it in my sleep.
Okay, I guess.
All right. Well, that
you get the idea.
as far as the
this mess,
the ability to write your own chips, is that something that moderate, entry level to moderate hobbyists can do? Can they program their own chips? Or is that?
It's expensive to do this. You're talking probably $1,000.
Okay, so then the answer is no.
No, not really.
Okay.
No, you need a computer to drive this thing. It doesn't run by itself.
But they're generally available. You can go on eBay and get pretty much any already programmed chip that you need, because there's enough Rays floating around. There aren't a lot of them, but it doesn't cost much to ship. In fact, if you need a programmed chip, you can email us. You've done that before, Ray, haven't you? Mailed out programmed chips.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not our business model, so I'm not listing them on eBay or anything. But if you need one, hey, we're here to do that. We have the chip stock, and we can do that.
The problem with emailing, the problem with sending ICs that are programmable through the
they X-ray them.
That destroys it. X-ray goes right through any kind of covering, and it destroys the chip content.
So how do you mail that?
Well, it's
difficult.
You can reflect an X-ray with aluminum foil, and they might unbox it. I don't see a large failure, but I've already ordered chips that were said to be programmed and got them, and they didn't.
Oh, Ray, I just mailed a security chip.
Well, that's not a EEPROM. That's a PROM.
Okay. So it'll be all right.
EEPROMs are subject to this.
It might still be questionable.
Well, I don't see no problem with PROMs, but EEPROMs occasionally, and the mail doesn't X-ray everything. No.
Okay.
It's better to UPS or FedEx, something like that. I don't see a lot of failures. I had to have them once or twice. I was told about it and never thought of it.
But you program a lot of chips, so
yeah.
Change my mind. Don't ask us to send you a chip unless you want it to maybe arrive blank.
Yeah, you take a chance. Every once in a while it'll happen. You don't know. Anyway, this is the solder station I use.
Okay.
Heiko 939. This is a desolder station.
Okay, what is a desolder station? What's the story there?
It's a vacuum controlled device that pulls solder with different tips off of a circuit board. And this is the right way to take a component off.
Okay, in the field you use that braided stuff.
Yeah, this, yeah. Now, you can use this in here as well as that. It depends on how tight the component is. You can reflow solder on. I like to use this in my shop. I don't use it in the field. This is 020. You might notice it's very thin. This is ideal for board soldering. You don't want to use anything real thick because you're taking the heat away from what you're trying to solder, and you don't need that much solder. These components do not need
mounds and mounds of
inch
stuff.
solder like these people you see using. It's for radiator repair or something. It's like they get it at Radio Shack. It's thick. It's 1/8 inch.
Nice.
You need like 020. I use 031 in the field, but you even have to watch with that because it's too thick. 020 is what you should use if you're doing workbench repair. You don't need that much solder on a joint here. They're very small. If you're doing maybe a header or something bigger, you can get away with something bigger, but a flipper, a coil soldering, you don't want to use that. You'll be there forever and you'll feed a foot of it in there. You want to use thicker solder for like soldering a coil or something, you know.
Okay.
But for board repair, no.
No, it's all miniature stuff.
Right. And then this is my other solder station that I'm going to put here, and then that's going over to the store.
Oh, you're upgrading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to have that at the store as well, because I don't want to use this
use the braid in the store, yeah.
And I want this at the store, and I don't want to cart that back and forth. So this stuff's expensive. This is $50 a roll.
Wow.
This here again, they make this in different thicknesses and widths. I like this is a 100-foot roll. It's halfway gone. It's 075, and this has got flux already in it.
Solder sucker.
You can actually flex this out to make it work better. That's what you're really supposed to do. They don't do this when they ship it because it would make this too big.
Too big, right.
So you can, this will now pull more solder than that.
Okay.
So sometimes if you have a joint that's large or you have a stubborn joint, you're probably going to want to flex a little of this so you can get a better draw off of it. But yeah, this stuff's $50 a roll.
Wow, you know what I need you to do? I need you to save the, when you're done using it, you save it, and I'll put it in a bag and I'll put it on eBay.
This was from our call yesterday. I'm going to redo this. This is out of a 1974
Twin Pirate.
Twin Pirate gun. Motor speed control board. It's got a problem on this side. This side works.
Well, there ain't much on there, Ray.
No, these caps are from 1974. So I have to replace these electrolytics. I guess go over some of the other little components and then see where we stand. You need a schematic to work on it though. You don't just say, well, and what is it? You have to have this. You know, I have these as well. May of 74 is what this was made at. I have these as well over at the store.
Yeah, you have a ton of that
I borrowed
stuff.
Joe's because I'll get his back to
yeah, well, it belongs with the machine, sure.
I have these. I have for Gangbusters, all the haunted house.
Yes,
all the popular.
You didn't see the video. In fact, I don't recommend you watch it because it'll take up an hour or 2 hours of your life. But why did that shut off? Joe was complimenting you on how on your abilities and everything, but he pointed out a fail. He did point out one time when you failed.
Really?
Yeah. He said you were working on that Jolly Park, and you know, Arcade Russ had the manual. The manual was in Spanish, and you were unable to decipher what it was trying to tell you. I guess the schematics were in Spanish too, or whatever. So you were unable to fix the machine either promptly or first try or whatever. From the Spanish schematics, he had to get you English schematics.
Oh yeah, he did. I remember that. Well, you know why? It came over 220 when he bought it from Mike Pasak.
Right.
He wanted to convert it to 120.
So he pointed out that you're not capable of reading Spanish.
No, I didn't want to just
schematics.
assume what I was looking at. It would ruin the machine.
So
yeah, well, that's neat. That was a neat little piece.
Yeah, I wanted to feature it yesterday, but we ran out of time. It was just.
We'll be going back.
Yeah, define we.
You're going to send Jimmy with a camera.
Yeah,
he
I am.
likes to go back.
Yeah, I don't know. He's. Yeah.
Dude, I've been up there 4 or 5 times, isn't he?
I know. But just another thanks to Joe Newhart. That was really awesome what he let us do yesterday while you were working.
This is also a different kind of electronics. This is a Mega Touch ion board.
Some people don't warranty those, Ray, when they recon them. Oh, I mean when they don't recon them.
Of course. This is an ion. Yeah, they probably don't.
Have you ever encountered a Mega Touch that just happened to work, but then you turn around and walked away and came back and it didn't?
No.
No? Were you for real?
This is
Have you ever been to an arcade auction?
Oh yeah.
Do you see Mega Touches there working?
Oh, they work, and then people get them home and they stop working.
What about the one that's over at Joey's?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that story?
Yeah.
He bought that at auction. It was sitting there. It was sitting there working at the auction.
Yeah, for a few minutes, hours.
Yeah. How long did it work after he got it?
Not a day.
What was the warranty on it?
Nothing.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Nothing. And it took him $500-600 worth of work to.
Yeah. Well, it needed the standard everything.
Yeah, it's working today. You go down there.
Yeah. It's just sitting there. But
I told him though, nobody plays them.
Yeah.
In a public place, it's a home use thing.
It is. People do play them, but at any rate, this isn't a Mega Touch commercial.
Different technology. This is a purple ECS board. They use two kinds of boards in Force Ion Evos. This one's in here for recon. Recap it. I don't use this processor. I use the copper heat sink for the processor. I'll wash the board, and then it's just an example of different technology. I replace the battery, of course.
What's for dinner?
Battered fish fillets.
Can I have one?
I haven't made anything yet, but I can put them on now.
Well, I'm in no hurry. I'm not going anywhere. We're looking at circuit boards. Did you know that Ray is a YouTube star?
I've watched some of the videos, yes.
People find him very interesting.
He is very interesting.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch it.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of the subject matter is real
Dry.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah,
it's
had I turned the sound down and just watched him.
the subject matter is you know, for certain people and then not for others. But
Yeah, you can fall asleep at it.
but just to watch him talk, you know, it's quite a sleep aid.
No. Well, all right.
Oh.
Her voice in the background, honey.
It's all crap!
Honey dearest, it's all crap. What are you playing with now? It's all junk.
Another test bench here in this room would be my.
This is where you test arcade boards when
I'm
needed.
gonna probably move this over to the store because I think just my bench for board level thing. This is a video test bench. This is my Pac-Man, and you have two power supplies because you don't want the monitor on. Certain times you don't want to be turning it off.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you would power the monitor up. That powers this monitor and this monitor. This is my MegaTouch monitor. I can test MegaTouches here at this station, and then this one would be for game power. This would be
Oh, I bet you I know who belongs to that one.
yeah, Jamie.
That's Jamie Marple's pack board. You were working on it. What the?
Yes,
What's
I am working on it.
that game looks like it's fun to play. What's going on there? The checksum ain't right.
No. It's hard to say. I started moving through it to swap components out. I put EEPROMs in it. I've got to do caps yet, just for maintenance.
Yeah.
That's not what's part of the problem. I've done some RAM. I didn't do all of them. I did some RAM and I did some ROM memory.
Okay, so let's talk arcade game diagnostics. You don't. Well, with all these circuit boards, you don't do it. You know, we talk about multimeters and all that. You don't do a lot of component testing because they're just. How do you test a chip? You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't, and you can't.
They're low-cost devices that it's not worth your time to. It's worth your time to find out that chip causes this problem and make notes of it, but it's not worth your time to find out what's wrong with the chip beyond that.
So when you go digging at this board and you say you replace.
You leave new stuff in and throw out the other stuff, even though it was.
And you use what you last time you might have. No, I'm just speaking hypothetically. Last time you spent 15 hours replacing stuff until you found the one chip that does this.
Yeah.
In fact, in this case, you'll make a note when you find the problem on that board of what chip it was, and next time you see that, you'll say, "Oh, I saw that before," and you'll start there. And if it's not there, then you'll continue to chase.
Yeah,
just based on your knowledge of the infrastructure of the board itself.
Here's my notes.
That's your pack notes?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
There's quite a few pages of things relating to it, and most of them, you know, are printed out. I make notes.
You know, I think you should throw all that shit out, and here's why.
I like it.
Here's what you can do is throw all that shit out and get a phone. You need another phone, and you have a 90% chance of fixing a pack board over the phone.
Yeah.
Just walk them through it.
That's the 2 workbenches that are in here. These are books that you need if you're doing component level repair. These are semiconductor replacement guides.
It looks like Greek to me.
Yeah, this tells
when you go to read those pages that towards the back there, do you use your station over there with the magnifying glass? Because that stuff was small.
Yeah, you do.
Oh my.
They come out with most of it on DVD nowadays. I think the last printing was this. Those are really old. And this came out probably not too long ago. It's just a rebuild of that. But sometimes they drop old NOS stuff and don't print it. Especially some of your Williams components, you know, which haven't been made for 20 years. It might not be in a newer book. You have to look in some older publication.
Oh, and part numbers change and they cross over to this and that.
Yeah,
and the
ECG bought out it.
Stuff becomes obsolete and
ECG
unavailable.
got bought out by NTE, and NTE now holds ECG components. ECG was a leading manufacturer for a lot of years in electronics, and then they finally just got bought out by NTE, and they are remarketing and relabeling part numbers, and they upped the price a good bit because this is all specialty stuff. There are several places to go get parts, you know, Mauser Electronics, DigiKey, Allied, Great Plains Electronics. Arcade Chips is a good one for specific video stuff. A lot of places.
Okay. Well, you know, it seems like this was only 10 seconds long to this point, but would you believe I'm running out of film already?
Really?
So we're going to cut here. We're going to take a break. I might
fall asleep on the chair.
I might take a nap. But we'll be back shortly. Ray, I don't know. I want to go actually back to your repair station over there. I want to see you in action and maybe talk us through replacing a component or two, if that's on your plate of already in action over there. And then we'll go out and visit your test bench. Yeah, that board doesn't work, Ray. It needs. It used
to go beyond this. It's aging.
Well, call somebody on the phone. Maybe they can walk you through it.
No, I'll figure it out. I just haven't had time to sit down at it.
Okay, we're going to take a short break here. Everybody, Jim, go grab a beer. We'll be back with you shortly. Okay, we were in the groove, Ray, and we had to stop and reset. What are you doing?
Well, you mount the board in a board holder. This allows you to...
You don't just throw it on a bench?
No, you don't chase it after a bench. You buy one of these pan vise. Pan-a-vise is what it is, and they make several different attachments for it. And this is spring-loaded at this end. It clamps the board on the board edge, and then you can work on a board. And then the next thing you probably need is one of these.
Okay.
It amplifies visually a little bit. Not a lot, but you can see better when you're doing something.
Okay. Makes sense.
And then you have your desoldering station and your soldering station. They're digital. This is $1,000 of the equipment.
That's a pretty fancy soldering machine. I have a Craftsman, one of them pull the trigger things.
And this also is a Granger workbench. Both of these surfaces are ESD.
What's that?
It's electrostatic discharge. They're static. They discharge static.
Oh.
They don't create it. You don't want to work on a vinyl surface. You don't want to work on anything that's going to charge static up. You might introduce a problem.
Okay, timeout. Shipping an old circuit board.
What's that doing?
I don't know. It's thinking.
Yeah, shipping an old circuit board, yeah.
Does it need to be in an anti-static bag?
It should be. Yeah.
Really?
If I would repair one, I wouldn't want to send it out without it.
Oh, you're contradicting what we do. When somebody buys one of them old video game boards or whatever, I'm wrapping it in shrink wrap and out it goes.
Not repaired, first off. Second off, when you wrap something in something that is not anti-static, as long as you're not going to introduce static to it, it's not going to matter anyway. Once it's packed up, is it going to slide across the carpet? No. How's it going to get static? Static electricity doesn't absorb into it. You have to inject it into it. The only reason that you use, this is a green color, but most of the static bags are silver. in color. This is plastic treated. Some of your bubble wraps are anti-static as well. Pink designates anti-static bubble wrap.
Oh, does it really?
Yes. Clear bubble wrap is not.
If I weren't asleep, I would have learned that just now. Okay, so if I just wrap it in shrink wrap and then I put it in a box with foam peanuts and it bounces around in the box with the foam peanuts and the regular plastic wrap shrink wrap stuff that we use. Am I introducing a problem to that or not?
May or may not. Usually you need something more than just sliding around on some packing material like foam. You need to carry a board across the room on carpeting, and you need dry environment. Right now the humidity in here is 55%. That's too humid. You can't induce static in a humid environment because the humidity in the air dissipates the charge. The only reason you see static electricity is in the wintertime when the relative humidity is down to 30 or 25% or less. You know, it's dry. Then you can see static because the air will not take the charge away from you when you're sliding across carpeting or vinyl floors. You know, you can only make static a certain amount of ways.
So when I'm shipping these old boards, the System 4 board or whatever, do I need to rethink my shipping technique there, Ray? It sounds like you're saying no, and you told me no before, and now this interview is saying something different.
No, you don't when you're doing shipping, when you're handling a board. In a shop environment, you're going to have more of a potential to damage your board. You really have to work hard to damage a device with static electricity. It's thought it's very easy. It's really not. It's just a thing people like to associate with why these stuff don't work. It has more problems.
Oh,
it has more
Buford
problems.
610 sent me this board and it was wrapped in shrink wrap, and that's why it don't work, even though they said in the listing that this thing hasn't been tested in 50 years and it needs reconditioned and tested and reconditioned and fixed and reconditioned some more.
The benefit of buying a used board that is not tested working is number one for parts, number two to learn off of, or number three to repair. All this stuff doesn't come to me working. It looks just about like that board I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
In fact, it probably looks close to this. With stuff missing, bent, corrosion, acid damage.
No,
this is it.
It's none of those, Ray. It was
has,
because I wrapped it in a shrink wrap.
This has the least of its worries.
Why is that here?
The least of its worries are static.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a trade-in, and I didn't get to throw it out yet.
Oh well, you're not going to throw it out because guess what? I'm putting it on eBay.
It's for parts, or if somebody. It's not totally unusable. You know, a lot of people like to hobby repair stuff.
Sure.
And they like the fact that their talent can be to turn something trashy.
It may be fun, but it certainly
something usable.
At this point is not sensible. In fact, we're going to show you Williams test bench out here, and I hate to call you obsolete, but your love affair with that test bench is over, Ray. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
It wasn't that. It was a necessity. I did game.
Well, yeah. 5-10 years ago, you had to fix these boards. Now, if you do, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You really are, because you're wasting your time patching, putting plugs and patches in a bias ply tire that's bald. Can you make it work? Yeah. Is the effort that you put into it going to be worth anything? No. Well, at least no in comparison to putting the new part in. It's just a no-brainer. But at any rate, you have a board up there. What are you doing to that board? And don't tell me why, because I just explained why you shouldn't.
I'm doing it because I shouldn't. It's a system 3 through 7 solenoid driver board for Williams.
And we're doing it just for everybody's enjoyment, because we're going to show it on the test bench out there. We're going to test it and see if it's any good or not. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
And while we're here, you're going to show somebody how to replace a header, maybe, or whatever it is. You said you were in the process of reconning that one for some silly reason.
You know, the header's been done here for the interconnect board. I'm going to do the other 9-pin header solder traces. I usually take the solder off and then put new on.
Okay, so this
when I
is...
recon these boards, I always do that.
So if for some reason you feel a necessity to what they refer to as reflow solder, we're going to show you the correct way of doing that. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Because you don't just reflow solder.
No. You have to take the old off and put new on.
Can you do that in less than 5 minutes?
No.
Okay, well we're rolling. I'm with you.
Alright, well first got to change the tip on this. Because this is for ICs and I need a bigger one.
Let me guess, that was hot.
Yes.
It must have been really hot because you're not afraid of picking up something that's hot.
No, well, it's 701 degrees.
701 degrees is hot.
And after you get the tool set up, clean the tip off. Okay. What you'll do here is that's a complete header. This one here is the key, by the way. You don't have to do the key.
You don't have to suck out the key because there's nothing there.
Right.
Okay.
If you do the key, the header falls off.
Oh.
Each pin...
So if you were replacing the header, you would do the key.
Yeah. And, you know, you can do the row so you know where you're at.
So what it's actually doing is it's melting the solder there and sucking it through the tube in the middle into the land of nobody knows.
Right. And the key on this is number 4, so that's there.
So does the solder, does it actually go into some sort of tray or something? Do you ever have to clean out the other end of this device? Where's it go?
It goes in here.
Can you reuse it?
No.
Can you put it in a bag and sell it on eBay?
No.
Ah.
Anyway, what you have to do with this is... This is hot. You can see where it goes.
Oh. Neat. Okay, I don't know if that was interesting, but sometimes you just don't know where stuff goes. It looks like that was due to be done and cleaned anyway.
Right, that's why I emptied it. There's filters. I change them. You know, there's one here, one in here. You want to maintain this device because
it's expensive.
$600. It's not exactly for a home.
You know, people wonder where your labor rate comes from, and nobody complains about your labor rate, but they probably wonder where it comes from, and it comes from this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, and when you buy one of these, you get this. I just got this. They still sell the same model. There's other ones that are more expensive. This will be for here. This is brand new, and this is the same device as that one. Because I like it. So I'm going to move the old one at the shop. This one will go here.
It is the same one.
Really, no, yeah, it is.
Well, that's not very interesting, Ray. Put that away.
This is what you get, maintenance kit. I did opt for a different handle though. I have the 90-degree handle.
Okay.
Instead of the straightforward one, you can do it easier under a magnifying glass.
I'm surprised by that.
Anyway, you have to have tools to do good work.
No doubt.
Most of these people that do this work will cheap out and use tools or no tools.
Sure.
You have to have tools. Anyway,
well, and again, this is
get a chance to swap out. I got to take that to the store, unbox that.
That's just an example of where labor rate comes from. Is right. You know, being in business, you didn't buy that. Your customers buy that.
Yeah.
And they have to, but they don't have a choice.
Here's your maintenance kit. I have extra of these for here, and these are extra spring things when they wear out. These are extra tips. Now, the reason I'm showing you these is because these are $20 a piece. Anyway.
Again,
the stuff is not...
Your customer has
cheap.
to buy that, or their other option is to not buy it and not use you and use somebody who doesn't buy that, and it shows in the workmanship from top to bottom.
They're going to work awful hard.
All right. Well, anyway, back to this. What are you doing here?
Here's an example of what it was before and after. You can see it. It takes out all the solder. The reason you want to do that is it makes a clean connection. What an example of a cold joint on one of these looks like is right there. Didn't take long to look for this top one right there. If you see it, that's a cold solder joint.
I'm going to try. This is going to be a little bit challenging.
It almost looks like this.
I can see that it's cold. If you know what you're looking for, you can see.
Yeah, there's a little halo around it.
I might be better off without the your magnifying glass. Let's see. Here's the top one.
Yes.
Well, ain't happening.
Cold solder joint will look like this, only on a less of a scale.
Okay.
The reason you want to redo these this way is the old solder has oxidized and it has separated from the pin, so just heating it up is not going to make it stick to the pin anymore.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't like that. The solder shot.
No.
It's deteriorated. It's no good.
I run my soldering iron 700 or 715 or so. This is adjustable, a programmable card.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Dude, I have tools. I like tools. I like good tools. What you want to do is heat the pin up first and then put the solder in. You don't just jam the solder in here until that pin's hot, or else you're going to be doing the same thing. And you don't put too much in. You want to still see the shape of the pin. This is where people make a mistake soldering. They're in a hurry, they jam solder on it, and all they get is a round ball, and you don't even know what's underneath of it. What's underneath of it is a cold solder joint with a round ball around it. There's a technique here. It's not just as simple as what you can read about on paper.
Can you do this over the phone?
No.
Well, then I guess we're not going to copy that business model, right? That ain't going to work.
Some people said it works. I think they're just hoping. Maybe they change your phone number a lot.
I bet they do. Well, or you know, they sign on with a different carrier after they go to pay their phone bill and they write a bad check.
Okay, now there's those two headers. Now this board has
several more to do.
Yeah. Next step is you want to use, I like a toothbrush, but you can use any kind of brush. I use 91% alcohol, and then I clean off the flux that's left.
Okay, 91% alcohol because of why?
It's cleaner.
Can you use just the stuff you get at the pharmacy, that the denatured alcohol? I'm sure you can. That's
91,
fine.
yes.
Oh, is that okay?
They have 70% and 91. 70 leaves a little white film, which is all right, but it's not clean. I like 90. If you're going to buy it, buy the 91.
Do the right thing. Okay.
But this is a done header, and then of course you can see there are others here.
Now, do you evaluate the pins themselves to see the condition of them?
Oh, these? Yeah, I would. Yeah.
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 So you don't just go at it. If the pins themselves are oxidized, they get thrown out.
They used a good quality pin. They're like a silver-plated pin.
But that's not always the case.
Problem is they're round.
Okay, and bad contact point.
Well, no contact patch.
Right.
It's sort of like they should have used a square post.
Yeah, well, round goes to almost infinitely none.
Yeah.
Because the contact point, yeah.
It's small.
Almost nothing.
Yeah, it's like a tire patch of a car on the ground.
Sure.
Anyway, they really should have used that was their mistake. Because they're using a flat contact
and that's why they burn up.
header, yeah. Yeah, you're not passing a lot of current here, but you are on the GI circuit or the board interconnect. So as long as these silver things are clean,
okay,
you can be okay. But I'll tell you what, when you buy a new board, you get square pins.
Yeah, they've figured that out now.
Not everybody did it though. Bally used square pins on their machines. Even the early Bally solid state boards, they use square pins.
Okay, well that's I think that's most of your soldering station here that's you got to show us.
This will be a duplicate setup at the store. I'm working on it.
Are you going to train somebody how to do all this? Don't look at me, I quit. All I'm good for is holding a video camera. At any rate, is that board in condition well enough to throw?
I'm going to do the rest later, but we can test.
Is it testable without causing any damage?
Yeah.
Okay, well let's do that. Let's reconvene over at your, I'm sorry to say, obsolete but interesting test bench and see what you got out there.
Here's
You got something else you want to show in here?
Sure. These are supplies. This is what you can do when you buy a board.
Gene, what is all this stuff?
Garbage. Static bags you buy by the package. These are small ones.
It's all crap. Okay.
Different size bags.
Ray, that's not interesting.
This is the alcohol you can get at CVS, 91%.
Oh, so you do actually buy it at the drugstore?
Yes, I stock it. And I keep the supply in the truck. These are anti-static cleaner I buy by the gallon.
Which you use on cleaning monitors. You do not, well, yeah, well, general homeowner, okay, you want to use Windex on your video game monitor, okay.
Yeah.
But what result are you going to get? It'll look clean when you're done, and fairly well. What'll happen is it'll attract dirt.
Real quick, as soon as you turn it on, there's
dirt in the air will fly to it.
Yeah.
That's not the case with this stuff.
No. If you're going to use glass cleaner, why not just go to the right step the first time?
I'm cutting, Ray. We're out of here. Let's go to the bench and see what you got else in the garage.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? There's one more thing in here that I saw on the wall. What is that? What is that thing up there? That picture.
Well, that's my race car from...
Is that the same one that's in the trailer out there?
Uh-huh.
What's the number on the window?
The number?
Yeah.
The ET number?
Yeah, that's the only one that matters.
It's 10 O's.
Okay, that's pretty fast. The people look like they're dressed. Is that like in the 50s or 60s?
No, man. It's late 80s. I was taken in Ohio at Columbus Mopar Nationals.
Neat.
Yeah, that's an e-hobby.
What is that car?
69 Plymouth Fury. It's alcohol fuel injected. It goes 10 O's at about 135.
Okay, we'll talk about that later sometime. That is interesting, but
It's a
that's
serious
got
hobby,
nothing to do with pinball.
Oh, no.
No. But pinball guys are, you know, a lot of pinball guys are motorheads.
Guys, yeah,
and then other pinball guys are clowns. But yeah, okay, we're cutting. See you shortly. Okay, Ray, we're in your garage.
Oh, yeah, another workshop.
Yeah, workshop number 15.
Yeah.
We'll tour this.
Yeah, I got resources. Not just junk in a warehouse, man. You got
Oh,
resources.
wow, you're taking shots without me all of a sudden. Junk in a warehouse.
Well, that's all it is.
Industrial park storage.
Maybe it's resources too, but it's junk in a warehouse.
Yeah,
Sorry.
99. Well, I was going to say 90%, but they phoned that in. It's 99%. Okay, what is this? Where did it come from? Why do you have it?
It was used a lot in Game Room Warehouse days. I got this from Joe Wager. Game Room Warehouse in Lebanon was a big retailer, the biggest around. Bigger than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a facility that was unmatched even to this day. He catered mostly to home game room people. That's his, I had that magnetic banner made up for my truck. He got me started, and he had a very serious effort there. This came from him. This was one of his workbenches he acquired in a parts deal, probably along with the Bally's, and he even had a Gottlieb. He had all kinds of stuff. This one here, I was employed to do repairs in those days in the 90s, to do system 3 through 7 games. which would include, let's say, hot tip all the way out to Black Knight, that era, everything in between, Flash, Firepower, Gorgar, Time Warp, all those games. This is a factory Williams test bench to test those boards. You can simulate an entire pinball with this. You've got your displays laid out, you've got your power supply, this is for your sound card. Your MPU goes here and your power driver, solenoid driver goes here. Now, in the day when I used to do a lot of repairs, I had this over in my workshop next to my soldering bench because I wouldn't have to take the board out of here. I would find out what component I had bad, and I would just flip it open and
it's built to work. It's built to work on in the machine.
Yeah, and you don't have to take the thing in and out of a pinball or in and out of a machine. This note is when I'm doing repairs, I make notes of the board number and what it was wrong, and as I get it done, I check off things. You know, this is your MPU. You can make this do a pinball, or you can use the test chip. And I have test chips for, that's a Data East test chip. You can, I have another workbench in there. It doesn't include this, that I can test Data East game.
Not this one.
Game boards
Yeah.
now. This one would be, well, here's a System 11 chip. I just keep all my test chips here.
Okay.
And then I made up my own harness for bowler displays because they're wired different.
Okay.
You can't use that.
But other than that, it's the same as a pinball. The
Yeah.
shuffle ends and stuff like that.
Right, that's right. This here will fit on that workbench. Like that, and then you just plug in your connectors.
Well, we're missing a soundboard, right? This is going to be less exciting. It's not going to go beep boop.
Right. Well, it's not really made to emulate a soundboard. You test individual. You can't test everything all at once, or it wouldn't be a test bench. You can separate your problems.
Right.
This test chip here, you'll see. First, you get your double flash. That tests that part. This means you're in stand. You have to know how to operate this, by the way. There was no book. I had to figure this out.
Oh.
This means it's standby ready for keyboard input.
Okay.
Keyboard input is done through Advance. This is your display test. It has 3 modes to it. This tests your digits one at a time and your scroll feature. So you're actually testing what this is doing through this to that.
Why did it only test for the 6 on the master display?
Because there is only 4
Oh,
used.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's reading the game chip. Is it determining that from the game chip, or no? There is no master display that would use more than 4.
Right, correct.
Okay.
That's right. It's a waste of a display, yes.
Yeah.
But now, in the early days, they did make 4-digit master displays.
Okay. I follow what you're.
And some of the System 11s had 4-digit, but in these some of these early ones, they had a 6-digit.
They used a 6 tube and moved on.
Yeah. Okay, the second part of your display is your digits. And then you can step into this. This is a standby mode that says, okay, I'm done with my display test, which is test 1. And now you can flip your switch to manual. And this is test 1. Test 1 was your displays. Test 2 is your flipper solenoid. This clicks and you get these locked on. That means this is working. And that's your flipper relay test.
Okay, so it just tested that and we didn't even see it.
Right, it clicked, yeah.
I didn't hear it, but okay.
Yep. This tests your special solenoid section. It's test number 3. These lamps are creating a minor load on this section, which is your special relay section. Special solenoid section, I mean. And then you can also do triggers at the same time, like I can manually trigger
Okay.
and aggravate it, test it, torture it.
Lean on the component. Okay.
Right.
So whatever it's doing there, it liked that section. Now it's going through.
This is the big section. This is 16 solenoid section, which is down here. And each light means each transistor is working going across. I usually let them run for 3-4 times.
It skipped 14.
That's right. Now I have to make a note that 14 is bad. The whole purpose of this is to take an unknown board and test it and find out what's wrong and correct it.
Okay.
So we have 14 out. Is that it?
That's all I see. It's got a bad 14.
Okay.
Make a note of it.
All right, next test will be lamp rows.
So this is testing the lamp drivers,
Yep.
I guess, yes?
That's right. And because lamps are in rows and columns, you want to go to test 6, which is, or test 5 rather, which is your overload.
Leans on them.
Yeah, which is this. Well, actually, I should say test 6. It's overcurrent, and one at a time you short it out, and you see if you have any problem come back. They should come back on when you're done shorting it.
Okay, so you're pushing it to the limit.
Yep.
To see
if you have
it'll-
a short,
to
it
see
will
if
not smoke. It won't blow anything up. It'll trip this breaker.
Okay.
And this will test other components in the lamp row circuit, which is over here. And then when you're done, you just go back. Now the next test is your lamp columns.
Which is identical, just different, this other side of the matrix.
Right. So you're testing this whole section of the board. And these will get warm like they do when they're operating.
Because they're working,
Pinball.
okay.
That's right.
This is a, what board is this? This is a system,
This?
yeah.
It's a solenoid driver out of any system 3 through 7.
Oh, it's the same for all of them?
Yeah, this could be used in Black Knight or Hot Tip.
Okay.
There are modifications and versions to this board. One of them consists of these 0 jumpers. These have a stripe and they're white. They yellowed over the years. They look tan. They're black stripe, they're white. These means they're resistors, but they're 0 ohm. You can also put a piece of wire in there.
They're jumpers.
Jumpers. The reason to do this is it makes this section work quicker.
Oh.
And it makes the CPU recognize a momentary switch. It's sort of like what Bally did by putting the cap on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The capacitor on the switch. This is the same thing, Williams equivalent.
That's Williams' answer
only
for it.
you do these 9 to 0. You can do that to any board in any game, and it will make your switches work quicker.
Okay.
You're not going to notice too much in gameplay unless you're an avid player. Unless you're deliberately looking at that switch wanting to see multiple feeds really quick. It won't make the game not play hardly any different. I've tested it. They came out with it because they had objection to some of the players playing faster games like Black Knight with multi-ball.
And getting robbed.
Yeah, they get robbed. Multi-ball games, you will get robbed on it because you've got a lot of balls.
Right.
Doing that multiple, you need quick switch input to the CPU. It's not that this isn't recognizing it, although it is slow compared to today's electronics. It's just this isn't generating a signal quick enough. It has to go through too much of the circuitry. That's why you want to do that little upgrade. It's really one of the only upgrades that you need to do between early and late board.
Well, and what? Okay, but this board already has it.
Yes.
Factory.
Right, factory.
But you can come across an old board that is not there.
That'll have resistors here, yes.
Ah, okay.
You change them, put wire jumpers
I'm
in.
kind of tired. You got to tell me things twice.
Well, it's just a little incidental, and like I said, you're not going to see too much of a difference unless it's in a multi-ball game, like Firepower maybe, or you won't. Flash is not going to really care,
Right.
but Firepower might, Black Knight might, you know, because you got multi-ball and you got.
Okay. What else does this boat anchor do?
It's in switch test number 8. There's 10 in the total test. Switch 8 is number 8 is switches, and they call it returns. Your switch circuit is up in this area, and these are your switch row and columns. So what you're doing is these are momentary toggle switches, and
it's reporting a switch like you would in regular switch test.
Yeah. If you have no report here or a failure, then you're going to have a problem in your switch matrix, namely the PIA first is what I would doubt. So you should have input. And it's only down for this test on 8. Number 9 is the up part of it, and that's your...
That's the other part of the matrix.
Yeah, column or rows, yeah. So here you've got all of these work, so you're all set with that test.
So there's a switch test.
Yeah. This is testing your sound. If I had a soundboard plugged in and this jumper was substituted here, it would pulse the soundboard sounds, because this board fires the sounds, and you have to take this off and put this on, and then this will send signals to this plug here to your soundboard, and you would get sounds.
So it's running through the regular sound test.
This will.
By the way, you have 14 out still.
Okay.
Dinner.
Yeah, they use the same set of driver transistors. That's why.
So you're seeing the same failure on the same part there.
Right.
Okay, that's cool.
This is all of it comes on to give you an overview twice. It ends the test that way, and then you can at a glance see what you might have missed as it was going across. And now you're back in standby test.
So this bench was meant to test displays and test the
Power supply. Power supply, displays, CPU, sound card, and power driver.
So how are you going to know if you have a CPU problem there?
Here?
Yeah. If something's bad there, how do you know?
You have to interpret why it is not working by probably putting in.
So you read so you read everything through the driver board.
Yeah.
So if you go to 14 there and you replace the TIP, I guess, and that doesn't fix it, you chase it upstream.
Right. It's really more of a comprehensive test for this board, not that or any other ones.
Right.
Of course, this is an obvious thing. This here you'd have to do meter. It's just a place. What this is a place to put your boards rather than leaning over into a pinball machine.
Sure.
Because these are all in the head of a pinball machine. This is a lot easier. If you have a dead CPU, yeah, it's hard to find. You'll have to know and go through problems to get it to work, because this will not even work without that working. So it can be a little tricky, and yeah, it is awkward. And I like the combo board that several companies have come out with.
Yeah, they're putting this thing out of business.
Yeah.
It's about over.
Yeah.
But neat. You're still working on them a little bit, but not much.
No. You know, it's hard to quit something you've done all those years. You know, I mean, I have parts.
Yeah, well, you quit fixing typewriters too.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of these boards I fixed.
Like you were saying before, you gotta roll with
I'd rather sell people new.
You gotta roll with the punches. When things change, you change with them or get out of the way.
I'd rather sell new. It's a better answer. This stuff to make reliable is too hard of a work go anymore.
Well, anything you don't replace is going to fail at this point.
Yeah, which is a lot because
it's old.
Look at the complexity of this. Yeah. There are known service failures on it. Yes.
They were from yesterday.
Yeah. Tomorrow there's other things that are going to go wrong.
Tomorrow's failure is unknown, but it's there.
No matter who assures you of what they've done and what they've learned.
They didn't learn what happens tomorrow.
No, and nobody does, because that's the future. Nobody's going to live and work on the future.
But experience says that these things are going to keep presenting problems.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's very cool.
You won't see too much of this stuff.
No.
Workbenches like this, nice stainless steel. It has a section. These are special 313 lamps.
Oh, that's too bad, because I was going to say you should put LEDs in there. That'd be cool. You were thought about it, didn't you?
Yeah, 313 lamp. I don't know what that means, but I think from what I was explained, this lamp draws similar current to what this
circuit does.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to tell you one thing though about test benches. The only real test bench is
the machine.
And
that thing will lie to you.
Playing a few games. Put the solenoid, make that thing work, because it's not working as hard here as it is.
It's kind of like a square and rectangle thing. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not necessarily a square. You can certainly find problems here. You can absolutely find problems
Better
here.
to do it here than in there. If you've got to this step and you've got an indication that it's working.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to do it.
Yeah, and 8 or 9 times out of 10, if it works here, it's going to be okay on the other
I
end.
keep pointing to that, and that is not a...
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But yeah, the true test bench is the machine itself. And of course there are other problems that can be wiring on the play field but that, you know, that's, or you can go back and forth. You can fix something here, it tests good here, put it in the machine that has a problem on short on the play field or something. And you find, are you with me on this, Ray?
Yes.
You find the problem on the play field and you fix it, but yet the problem's not fixed and you're scratching your head. But what you found out is that when you put the board in the machine to test it, you just blew up your board again.
Yeah, very good.
So then you're back here again. Does that happen, Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
This is an example of a sound card that goes in the workbench.
Oh, we'll test it.
It needs recon.
We'll blow it up.
No.
Okay. Why does it need recon?
It's missing that.
Oh.
It's missing some other things.
Oh boy.
And the caps are all old original. You can tell by the looks of them. But this is handy to test stuff like this. Like here we have
a 1,000 master displays.
Yeah, there's probably 80 in there, 50.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah.
you can test and evaluate stuff.
That's going on eBay, Ray, that whole box.
Yeah, as soon as we get the...
I don't want that. We want to test that, but not today.
No.
Okay, this is, believe it or not, getting long, Ray. We're not going to show you a race car today because it's not sunny, it's raining out there, and it's getting to be dark, and we've been called for dinner. But, do you fix EM pins?
Yeah.
We should know this by now. What are you working on over here? Just give us spend 5 minutes with this pin over here. Tell us what it is, what you've done.
The customers, Kings and Queens, Gottlieb, EM. What is being done? It's being restored, reconditioned. This is a coin door. Parts available from Pinball Resource.
Yeah, he does the door skins and the plates, I guess.
What the door looked like.
I know what the door looked like.
I screwed out. Sorry.
Can you duplicate this paint job with a paintbrush?
No. No, this is a skilled painter, not a guy that...
Down to the detail of the factory specs, and I'm not talking specifications, I'm talking the specs.
Mm-hmm.
That thing's gorgeous, Ray. I guess the customer didn't want it to look like it did before,
right,
or with paintbrush touch-up.
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You ready?
Oh, you guys filming?
Yeah, we're almost done. We're done in about 3 minutes, because I have 2 minutes of film left.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Went in and did all the contact point filing.
How many contact points are there?
Just a couple
Now's the
hundred.
one player, so this one's not so bad.
A couple hundred, you know. New fuse holders here, one back there. Well, there's 2 on this board. You put the cabinet back together after it gets done. Of course, I go nuts and polish.
Yeah, that's overkill, Ray. Playfield's over there. I guess that's where you're
It's the
at.
last step.
Where you're at on it.
Yeah, this has new clipper buttons.
Yeah, Steve sells those, right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Everything new. No
Okay,
glass.
now everybody's loving this thing, Ray.
Oh,
now
good.
piss them off.
All right, here we go. Yes, that's right.
Which one is it? This one?
Yes, that's right. LEDs in an EM.
Ray, you put LEDs in it,
I
yeah.
did.
Why?
And I'm going to put them in the playfield too.
As you should.
Because I have a customer that requests LEDs because of the color and it takes the load off of the GI.
Well, I'd go even one step
Same
further.
thing. It looks
It's no picnic putting bulbs in the back glass of this style of game.
No, it isn't.
You want to be one and done in there and move on.
Right.
So that's
It's
done.
the colors of the... I mean, look at the colors. I mean,
Yeah.
I use cool whites and warms certain places. Blinkers. I'll probably relocate this.
Yeah,
one.
you missed on
I
that
wanted
one.
it down here.
I'll move it.
Yeah, I'll do something else with it. You can see I used warms here and a cool here. I don't know. I kind of like it.
That's neat, Ray.
Yeah.
Post your comments about Ray putting EMs in. You know where we first saw that was up at Chad's. He did it on.
Yeah, he did on his Bally.
Yeah, I forget what pin that was. I
Yeah.
played it, but it looks so nice. And
Yeah, in his back box of the
Yeah.
Bally. It was a pool theme game, wasn't it?
yeah, I forget what it was. I played it and I kicked its butt, and it buzzed at me. and I was
Yeah, it
all
was one of the later models where you get over 100,000, the buzzer goes
yeah,
off.
it was ring them buzzers
so that
and all that stuff.
76 or 5
Yeah,
somewhere.
and it scared me because I got to tell you, EMs predate me, Ray. I don't, you know, I didn't grow up with these things. I don't know what they are.
It was first generation pinballs.
Yeah.
Maybe second generation if you include pre-wars without flippers. I mean,
when they changed over, I was 7.
yeah.
I was not playing a lot of pinball at age 7. But okay, we're out of film, Ray. This thing is really long. Let's go eat. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Tune in on Sunday for, I'm going to post the Sea Witch on Sunday, Ray. The video's done. It's already, all I got to do is post it.
Man, I wish we had more than one because you got like 5 people who want it.
Yeah, if you want the Sea Witch, it is going to be for sale. I don't know what the details are on that because there's actually a long list of people that are asking about it, and you know, I got to decide, I guess, who I like best, and whoever comes in second is going to be pissed off at me. But such is life. Ray, is there anybody you want to say hi to? I didn't brief you on this, so I don't know. Shout out to somebody you ain't said hello to.
Shout out to somebody.
You can think about it while you tell me what's for next week.
Next week. Well, let me think about next week. How about let's go into EMs next week.
Okay, that's cool. Let's talk about
I'd like
EMs.
to show some people how to do their own repair with EMs. The reliability.
You can do as a basic homeowner. You can do your own maintenance on an EM pin. Okay, it's now blinking 0 minutes, so we're gonna start on EMs. And say hi to somebody, Ray. You know.
Should I shout out to?
You should.
How about shout out to Bill at Silver Ball Mania?
Bill Lin. You can say his last name. We know him well enough. Bill Lindley. He's watching our videos. He's not far from here. We like Bill a lot. Hi, Bill. Stop by and see us. That's all I got, Ray. Say goodbye to the people.
All right. See you next week.
Hi. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Want to know what's coming next? Go like us on Facebook right now. You can keep up to date with all of us here at the shop and what we've been up to. Thank you for watching.